your funding at the moment? So you talk about processing, you talk about pharmaceutical, you talk about automobile, you talk about SME. And but you didn't talk about agri-communication. And that's where I happen to be. And then fortunately, you also made mention of innovation, when you were rapping. And then without communication, people will not have knowledge. So how will there be innovation without communication? What are you doing about communication?
Okay, thank you. I want to take your question as what are you doing about funding and servicing communication services?
Agric also said so that he spoke to us, the journalists, what are we writing, where is our space, there's so much. So how do we do this?
Okay, for services, you call them service providers. We have a working capital loan for them. In fact, our working capital loan combines for traders and service providers. So far, you have confirmed cash flows that we can see over time. It's something that will be funded. That will have. What I mentioned is a specific partnership with AFCFTA, focusing on those 4 sectors for now. It's a $6 billion partnership actually, and we're doing that all over Africa for the next 3 years. The plan is to make sure that after the 3 years, we are able to increase the participation, trade participation among African countries to 50% of the total volume of trade in a year. That's what from 18 to 50. Do you understand? Therefore, for such people within the service industry, we have working capital loan for them. And we also have asset finance, that is for all the different sectors of SME, which we have.
Yeah. Yes, and personally, I am into media, and I have actually produced a series on agriculture, 26 episodes, and we couldn't get it aired because a particular TV station, which should embrace such, told us to go and bring 1 million after we had spent our little money to be able to air. And we didn't have 1 million to give to them. And so that's why we resorted to YouTube right now. Now, for people like us, because there are so many others like that, what do they have to bring? What should they do to be able to get access to them?
Okay, it's very good you're asking this question, especially the fact that you're a woman. What we've done is to have, we have an agreement with African Development Bank to be able to reduce the funding gap for women-owned businesses across Africa, and that's about $42 billion. We call it Affirmative Finance Action for Women in Africa. We call it AFAWA. What it does is to make you have access to loans for your businesses. Do you understand? Women at a reduced pricing. That's one. Secondly, the kind of collateral that we require from you is reduced. In fact, I have a loan of 1.2 million that I don't require any collateral as a woman because I have partners who work with me, who are essentially focused to meet the risk. They know your issue.
The return of investment in cocoa, green chocolate, you're not making nothing less than over 150%. And what do I mean? You only need 500 kg of cocoa to do 5,000 bars of chocolate. So let me repeat myself. You need 500 kg of cocoa bean to do 5,000 bars of chocolate. And then we have found ourselves, our appetites long for something foreign that we find it so difficult to also celebrate our home. That's why some of the local cocoa chocolate producers who are doing a bit by bit in Nigeria are struggling a lot to sell their chocolate. And I think Ondo State government did a chocolate factory where as a farmer you can come with your cocoa bean to process at a little cost. And I also know that another young man, Springboard, just launched another cocoa factory, chocolate factory in Ondo State, and it's doing very well. And I'm also challenging a lot of people to really go into this value chain because there's a lot of money that is there that nobody seems to be talking about. There's so much cocoa powder as well. So this is it. They can always get rebates, but you only get rebates if in a system where your cocoa has traceability. And that is where people are not talking about. That is where most of the private sector, I mean bigger players who are supposed to be helping these farmers get traceability for some of the cocoa they are buying. What do I mean by traceability? What do I mean by that? So it's such a way that the Westerners who are buying most of these cocoa being raw, they want to have access to all the best practices from production to harvesting. For example, if you get to some place in Europe, I mean some of the largest chocolate producers, once you enter those factories, you will see a display of their big screen that is showing the process of, farming this cocoa to the point of them exporting it. So any farmers that has traceability on their cocoa will definitely get paid over time. So let me explain. Some of the sustainability programs or some of the bigger players who are buying cocoa from farmers are funded by their partners who are buying outside the country. So they are giving them the money to go back. Take for example, and one of them is Olam. Olam is providing committee. They have committee because I'm very close to them because I've worked with them before. They have a committee. They put farmers in committees so that they can also make money. So some of the interventions, take for example now, I facilitated and I supervised distribution of about 200,000 cocoa seedlings in Cross River. And that was given to those farmers free of charge because they also want to regenerate. Am I communicating? So, due to the fact that they are funding partners that they are selling their cocoa bean to, because they also want to have the cocoa keeps coming, and because of the traceability on that cocoa, they are able to trace the cocoa from wherever the source is coming from, and it's easy for them to now fund these farmers back with their sustainability program. So, very well, it's very, very good, and people are doing it. People are getting the rate for selling their cocoa. But most of our cocoa farmers are not under this umbrella. Take for example now, sustainability, traceability does not cover for cocoa in forest reserve. You know what I mean by forest reserve? So there are some government forest reserve that you don't go to plant some cash crops, and cocoa is one of them. So traceability does not cover for that forest reserve. But anywhere that has traceability, there are umbrella board that does that. For example, rainforest. You always get bait for selling your cocoa. Thank you.
There are a lot of communities in the cassava value chain, starting from the stem to the leaf, even the roots. But we're missing a lot. You find out that this product is the same product worldwide but with different names. Even before you get to the end product here, there are opportunities in the leaves. The same way people are complaining of vegetables not getting this, but medicinally, it's a kind of leaf you can take and use as herbs. You can even cook at home that gives that improves some of the nutrition before getting down to the end product. Because the end product, it is not everybody that will be able to process directly to the end product. Just to take for instance, we have the starch out there. We have this flour also. It's not everybody that will be able to do that at home. But there are lots you can do with the roots right in your house. Before you go out to something, there is no food to eat in terms of I want to buy rice, I want to buy bread, I want to buy today. The same cassava root, you can eat raw. You now have cassava root that are eggy, they have low cyanide, as the brother will say. Now have cassava roots, you can turn it to make food, to make apple, and a lot of things. Now talking about the products now. For cassava, there are a lot of products that come from it.
Yes, I was
But for
going to
this,
ask you, how many products can you actually, for the purpose of our audience today, how many products can you actually get from cassava?
there are lots. Just to mention it, yes. Like what we do, what we'll be able to tap into. We have the cassava flour, high quality cassava flour. We have the cassava starch. We have the sorbitol also. I'm so glad to mention to you that this sorbitol, we happen to be the first cassava, the first company to produce sorbitol from cassava in Africa. That is what we can do. That is what is happening. For people, only people know about those that know about it, they're even scared of issues surrounding it, but it's good to try.
What is that use for?
Yes, sorbitol is a substitute for sugar. It's just like a natural sweetener, and it is mostly used by people producing mouthwash. Those all used by Unilever. There is no mouthwash you keep in your house today that will not see sorbitol. And the good news is, instead of it, most of the mouthwash used in the country today is Soviet or American imported into the country. Just imagine why you now see the cost of those products very expensive in the market when you cannot even get some of the raw material locally made. So apart from Soviet, we also have glucose. So the line of product, you can produce glucose, you can produce different types of glucose from it, maltose and everything. So it's just for you to identify which one do I need to tap into. But as cassava alone, you have a whole lot to do with it. So it's just for you to identify which one do I need to tap into in this aspect and go on well with it.
Trust me, it's actually very large. Cassava gives you ethanol, which is used to produce alcohol and all of that, spirits and lots more for we don't know. I pray we find out more. Okay, sir. Mr. Sampson, I'm coming back to you. Someone is asking, please throw more light on soilless farming and how do I get.
You need numbers to control price, cluster farming. And if you are going to come into farming as a newbie and you don't have money to come in big, don't go alone, don't go and stay in isolation, come in with people. And what that cluster farming does for you, number one, is it allows you to buy input as a group. It gives you the power to negotiate. I'm sure if you listen to when Daddy was talking, the Reverend was talking, he said something about we want to give loans to organizations who are people who are producing for them. Which means the only way you as a primary producer can access such loan is there is somebody at the top who is waiting to collect. If I'm making any sense. Now, it's also important to understand that a Unilever is not going to come to a farm to collect one truck. No, it's waste of coming. Vis-a-vis, a Unilever's MD is not going to sit down to be talking to you and they're asking you what do you have, you're like, oh, I have one plot, and that's not land. So, but if your one plot is a part of 1,000 acres, 2,000 acres, alone you might be nothing, but together you are something. And two, what that does for you is you can access finance, you can get better rate from finance, that's if you want to collect loan. You can get better rate. Three, you are also able to buy some inputs from credit. Because the biggest issue for smallholder farmers is they need to pay for everything now. But when you are with a cluster, you are able to take advantage of what to pay for now, what to pay for later, much more important, what you can get for free, what we call grants. Because you are in a cluster, some organizations will come and say, we want to help this cluster, take X amount of money as a grant. Now, because of that number, you can now go to an organization and say, we want to create a price floor. Because they understand they can get the volume from you. But you see, for that price floor to work, you must understand the metric system for calculating that commodity, and you must understand the standard. Like my brother was trying to say, you must understand the standard. So take for instance, I am doing tomatoes. I know everybody here takes tomatoes in one form or the other. Most of the tomatoes you will buy in the market, in less than a week in your house, you can't refrigerate it to spoil. My own tomatoes will stay in your house 1 month, it has not spoiled. Why? Not because tomatoes can stay that long, but because the farmers producing it in open field do not have the knowledge on how tomatoes is supposed to be grown, so that the cell wall that forms the back of the tomatoes can be properly formed in a way it doesn't break easily. Will it make any sense? Now, if that farmer is saying I want to sell to a premium buyers are people that are about climate smart. Oh, we don't want our fridge all the time to chill our tomatoes, we want to keep them inside our store and it is still fine. You now brought your tomatoes 2 days later, water is everywhere. It's gone. So you must be able to understand the standard that organization wants, because at the top, you don't buy with emotion, they buy because it is business and profit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have so many questions here, and time is not going to permit us to run through all of it.
I want to ask something to you. I just think because it's something and model we want to solve with. I want to say the aspect of price control, basically, you can also approach it from all purchase. Big meat processors or farmers. I've conducted research in the past, work with women farmers. We try to look into why are women not really involved in this agriculture. So we then complain, we cannot do this alone, we cannot do this on our own, to buy this, to buy that. What if you have a cooperative group? I have a cooperative group that's working at the moment So when you said it we cannot do it, you cannot work in isolation. As a farmer, I want to understand that this is something that you can leverage on other opportunities if you want to grow. So for the issue of pricing as processors, if you want to have aggregators, if you want to buy products, you want to make it profitable. Some people profit are being away as a result of logistics, distance. So why not aggregate together? You have 1 hectare, we have 1 hectare, why not bring it together and save cost of transport also? So these are aspects that we need to work together and bring down consumer pricing.
Trust me, Agric communication will do more in the narrative.
That's why we are working together.
Thank you very much. All right, this last question goes to Reverend Ajayi. Someone is asking, please, can you expatiate on the loan, how to get equipment, on how to get equipment and the process on it?
Okay, getting an asset finance loan. I don't know if that person is a mainstream player or another sector of the economy, another business. But it's very important, the kind of asset we are looking at is operational assets, the one we use in your business. Let me give you an instance. The dynamics of assets that are not used for the operation of the business is different from those that are used for commercial purposes. Let me give you an instance. I funded a business, and that business is into logistics. They bought 5 buses. 4 out of the buses fly Lagos to Ibadan every day. The 5th one just carry the staff from their designated estate and brings them to the office and just stay in the car park. In the evening, take them back. 6 months into the operation, you realize, just go and look at the wear and tear of those. Do you understand? The dynamics of funding a commercial asset that goes out every day is different from the one you use for your operations that is only you. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I'm going to fund someone who transport for everybody, all the distributors in the market, it's different from when I fund you as a distributor and you bought your own goods. The only thing you use your truck for is when you want to bring your own goods. Do you understand? Operation, what you are using in the business, I will fund that. But for the other one, because I will just take the asset as the collateral, I don't require any other collateral. But if you now want to fund something that goes out every day, they face a lot. Some of them will go from Lagos to Kano. Do you understand? The risk level, do you understand? It's very, very high. You might now say, okay, you want to ask for that collateral. But if it's within the business, you don't need any other collateral. But your business cash flow must justify it. That one is fundamental.
Thank you very much, sir. I have plenty of questions here. I cannot attend to all of them. Some of them are similar, so one thing I want to assure you is this. All the questions will be attended to, will be uploaded in the app, in the Christian, the XPLOIT International app. So you get to see the response to those questions in those apps. Please endeavor to check your phone, your mobile phone, and get the app into your phone and follow the platform. All right. And just one last question for farmers. This is very important. So last question for farmers. Someone is asking. Let me paraphrase it. He said, "Do you have any regret if you're given opportunity to go back time, maybe 20 years down the time? Do you still enjoy what you're doing now, or will you do something else?"
Yes, I will do the same thing, but I will not start my farm as early as I started. I will have waited a bit more.
Thank you very much, Aya.
I think I talk about myself. That's Nigerian incentive-based, risk-based system for lending, agricultural lending. I talked about that. That's participation of the government. But really, we also need to look at sustainability. Next, the requirement for the government is to provide an enabling environment. to begin to see, okay, what can we do to be able to ensure that the players that this thing is meant for and they not getting it, they're working on those areas. But really, for us to have sustainability, the private sector should run business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. At this junction, we've come to the end of this discussion, and I want to just recap some of the key words that have been said here today. Daddy Bishop, when he started, he told us about what this program is actually all about, strategic empowerment. I believe we've been empowered today. For everyone that is here today, I'm sure you've learned one thing or something about agriculture, something you've not heard before, and that should empower you to want to do more. Mrs. Yemisi Rola, when she was speaking, she talked about intentionality, that you being intentional about agriculture. It doesn't just happen. So you have heard, empowerment comes by you have to be intentional about deciding, taking a decision to want to do it by yourself. You have to really be intentional. And then Adura Gbami told us that we have to, some of us are productive talkers, so we can do a lot of marketing. The air for publicity and all of that is so huge that people need to go into that space to be able to converse with AI, all of just like, the example he gave that the banking sector and the oil sector didn't have to advertise anything before people went into it. They got into it because they saw money. If we begin to make Agric more productive, more interesting, and then they know that there is profit in it, there is money in it, people will just come in the same way, just like they embrace the banking industry and all of that. So we have to be intentional about Agric. It's not just like it's going to happen overnight, but we have to work hard towards it. And Daddy Bishop also said that for the way our country is today, we have to be right creative. If we don't create wealth, if we just want to sit back and be enjoying wealth, we become even poorer than we are today. So we have to be intentional about creating wealth. So thank you very much, my panelists. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful day. And we usually come to the end of the
blocking me.
discussion today. God bless you.
If you do that, you're walking in obedience. Praise the Lord. Please, can you put on the screen for me console Isaiah 58 verse 11. And that's how we're going to do the prophetic proclamation. And in case it doesn't come on the screen, please pick up your Bible or pick up whatever you have.